Hello. Once again I come before you as a representative of the Illuminati. You may call me the Man. Well, this week's topic comes to us from Russia, where Vladimir Putin has decided that he's going to show the United States what it was like to live in the rest of the world under the administrations of George W. Bush and Barack H. Obama. Actually, that's not really true, because Vladimir has decided to, with legal support of his own parliament, act unilaterally. And George W. Bush did actually put together a coalition to go into Iraq, even though he used very shaky intel to be able to do that. And Barack Obama has not invaded anyone. He just didn't stop anything he said he was going to stop, and he conducts drone strikes onto sovereign soil of other nations in something that would, you know, at any other time in history be a prelude to war. No, so it's not exactly the same thing, but it's kind of similar. No, Vladimir has decided he's going to show us what it's like to act unilaterally. He just wants to do what he wants to do. That's all there is to it, and he will invent anything, any excuse. That sounds like a certain guy from Germany a long time ago. But you know, it doesn't do any good to call anybody names, and it's not going to end up the same. Trust me on that. There are a lot of things coming together that will eventually stop it. However, you got to hand it to old Vlad. This is not a new project. He didn't do this willy-nilly. He has been planning this for some time, and just happened to use this particular, I don't know, occasion, the occasion of the Ukrainian revolt against its own government, to step in and show that Russia is still a world player. It turns out for a long time he's been funneling corrupt money into Western Europe, and Western Europe developed a taste for it. And so that's why you see right now with the United States going, oh, we should boycott this and we should stop all trade with that. You'll see Western Europe go, no, we don't really want to do that, but we will call him names, and that'll take care of it. Now, eventually, of course, Mr. Putin's going to have to bring his troops home, and he'll declare victory just like anybody else will in that particular situation, and just go home, and he'll be much stronger where he's at. His position will be stronger, and he will have taught the nations that used to be part of the Soviet Union that you're still part of the Soviet Union. You think you got away, but not quite. We could still do what we want to, and there's really not a whole lot anybody else can do about it. So anyway, I guess that makes him quite the mover and shaker. He is, he's quite the guy. And to time it right after the Olympics, a time, even though they're the Winter Olympics and I don't care for them, but it's a time where the entire world comes together and, you know, looks past each other's differences so that the athletes can compete in a spirit of camaraderie, if not competition. It's amazing that the kind of absolute nerve that Vladimir Putin has. It's just absolutely amazing. And so yeah, that's this week's topic. Listen, it's not the beginning of World War III. I know a lot of you guys out there are worried about that. Are we going to go to war? No, we are not in a King Arthur situation. You know, little literary. No, don't know. Okay, the fall of King Arthur. You know, his army, Mordred's army, standing across the battlefield. One guy tries to kill a snake that was biting him on the boot, and then of course somebody thought, oh, there's a sword, and you know, the whole battle started, and it wound up Mordred died, Arthur died. That's all wrapped up. It's not that situation, okay? Nobody's going to throw the world into thermonuclear war over this whole Crimean situation. Don't worry about that. Just dial back the rhetoric and see how it plays out. Now, of course, all the Western countries have to balance how they're going to answer this, and they can quite literally tip everything toward Vladimir's favor by reacting too strongly, and they can just as easily tip it toward his favor by reacting too weakly, because if nobody really raises an uproar about it, he'll just keep it. That's all there is to it. Oh no, they're part of Russia. As a matter of fact, yeah, they have voted to be, or some of them in the Crimean region have voted to be a part of Russia. And so, yeah, he's more than happy to bring on new people and expand his territory. His final goal, after all, is to create an economic empire, much like the European Union, except using European Asian countries, those little countries that are around the Asian marker there, that particular continent, and also are part of Europe. He's wanting to increase the influence of both himself and his country. So that's what he's after, and you have to be careful in that response. You'll see in the next few weeks, it'll play out okay. No need to worry about it. Yeah, it's just not. It's not that big a deal overall. Pretty big deal if you're Ukrainian, though. And so, yeah, you guys just recently overthrew a government that didn't listen to you, and now you've got a government that's never going to listen to you, that's trying to take over. So I can see why you'd be upset, and of course, you have every right to be. But you know, strength in numbers really works, especially when dealing with the military. You think it's fighting each other that will get things done, and it's not. If the entire population of Ukraine decided to, hey, you know what, we're just not going to do what you say, how much would the Russians be able to get done? Nothing. So yeah, that's really all you have to do, and that's all anybody really has to do, is refuse to go along in large enough numbers so that nothing gets done, and then suddenly you've got to change. It's not always on the battlefield that things are changed. Most of the Ukrainians will tell you that, because they spent a long time doing nothing right in the middle of Kiev, and they changed their governments. And so that's today's lesson. You don't have to go along with it. You can always resist it, not overtly, but just by doing nothing. And so to that end, you know, we in the Illuminati, we actively encourage people to have representative governments, because free people are easier to control, as I've said before. So we highly recommend you do nothing. In fact, when it comes down to the grand scheme of things, the best thing that you can do, besides leaving a comment or question in the comment section below, is just to walk outside your house. Look up there in the sky, see those chemtrails blazing, and we'll just relax and breathe deeply.